Hi, Shane.
Hmm.
Good morning.
Apologies, I missed you and Martin arriving. I was typing away and just working on integration of the various comments and so on. I saw on the document trying to clear up the steps.
That's okay. And I'm sorry I couldn't bring anything to the table in the last week. We have a release going on.
Oh, no, 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 no. Because I think this meeting is very small, it's probably just you and me. That's largely because we held the summit yesterday.
Yeah.
I was just thinking I'm gonna live edit the document for a little while, uh, until about half past. You're very welcome to live edit as well, or just take a break and relax. You've had a busy week.
No, I mean, my busy week continues for 3 more weeks. So I have my time sorted out for OpenChain. At least even if I cannot, give more time to during the other days in the week, this 1 hour of time is for OpenChain.
That's excellent. Uh, well, in that case, I'm working on the steps. Uh,
Mhm.
so I'm currently just trying to make the path between the various steps clear. Uh, while I'm working on the steps, I wanted to just check if there are any items that you had open. I see you did some editing. Um, yeah, it seems mostly then with the steps, what I'm editing is basically responding to Martin's stuff. And he gave
Yeah.
some great draft language. The only big difference I've done with his draft language is he fit quite a lot into a couple of steps. So I was just splitting that out step by step, each item one thing. So
Yeah.
step one, form an OSPO. Step two, decide what the OSPO's parameters are. Step three, the OSPO makes the policy. Step four, check the policy against the ISO standard for license compliance to see if there's any gaps.
Yeah. And then probably we can move the goal to the next step on next line. I think that should be fine.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe just to say the goal of this step is to make sure the policy allows for a quality compliance program. I think that might be okay to leave it. Let me just type that and see how it looks to make sure. Maybe that's okay for step four. What do you think? Step five then is
Step 4 is good. Step
yeah.
5, I think it gets a bit complicated where we expect a small scale company to, address the gaps with OpenChain or the new policy. So probably we can reduce the complexity in this statement.
That's a really good point. Um, okay, how about we just make this about socializing the policy and plan with the company?
Yeah, create a plan of adoption with
Oh, okay.
available industry best practices and socialize the plan. I think that should be fine.
Right. So, okay. Maybe method and time scale. What do you think of that? Is that okay?
Yes, that sounds good, and it's simple too.
Yeah, I think the simpler the better, right? Because this is
Yeah.
meant to be a small company.
And then the importance of this particular activity would also be, a little because their core competence or core interest would be in selling their product and making the product more acceptable, right? So yeah.
Right. Okay, so
I think step 6 should simply be.
step 6 seems to be a lot of things here. Maybe step 6 should be just
Step 6 is more or less like summary of what was done so far and what we can expect. At least that's my understanding.
how about we make step 6 into just saying that apply the policy and self-certify to ISO 5930.
But shouldn't we be, explicitly conveying that there should be a mechanism for providing S-bombs for their product?
Ah, yes. Well, the ISO standard section 331 requires an S-bomb. So if we mandate that they apply the ISO standard and self-certify to it, or let's say certify to the ISO standard and implement the program, that certification process itself will force an S-bomb.
True. Yeah, you're right. Yes. So I think we go with your suggestion then. We say implement the policy and then adhere to the ISO standard.
Now this, this is kind of sneaky because instead of mentioning the ISO standard here, we're telling them to go somewhere which will immediately tell them, I'm sorry, instead of mentioning an S-bomb here, we're telling them to go somewhere which will immediately tell them use an S-bomb.
Yeah, but it might also lead to a question that, okay, it was not explicitly mentioned in the document I was referring to. There are too many connections. Maybe we can make things a little straightforward. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Thinking in different perspectives here.
Well, let me try some language just about, sorry, my format. Decided. Let's see. That seems really complex wording, right? Maybe apply the policy.
Apply the new company policy. Anyway, in step 5, they have already implemented the policy.
Well, step 5 is create a plan. Step 6 is execution.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so apply the new company policy, including ISO self-certification questionnaire. That's what's needed. The wording here is terrible. I'm just trying to work out how to make it better.
Yeah. That's a little tricky.
Yeah, and it doesn't help. I haven't had coffee yet and it's morning here. So my brain is still not working.
I can understand. I get that feeling.
So in the mornings, are you a coffee or a tea person?
I'm a tea person.
Oh, okay. Interestingly, I read that Japanese green tea has more caffeine than coffee, which was something that surprised me.
It's true. It's the same in India as well.
Oh, I have a question, and this is probably weird to people listening into our event where you're like, why aren't they just editing the document? But welcome to OpenChain. I have a question which is related to tea. You have so many different varieties of tea in India, but when you
Yeah.
go somewhere like the UK, you find that, oh, mostly people are just drinking Darjeeling tea, and
Yeah.
it was English breakfast. So in India, is it similar? Is something like the Jilin really dominant, or are people really diverse in having the different teas?
No, in India we have a variety of options. So if you come to South India, you would find more of South Indian teas here. So there are two states which are very well known for their tea, especially Kerala. They
Yes.
have huge amount of tea estates, and those teas they have their own taste, right? So in South India, you would find more of these teas which come from Kerala, and then towards to the North India, you would find Assam tea and Darjeeling tea.
Okay, now that's interesting. I wonder why Darjeeling is just so prevalent in the British Isles.
The reason is Darjeeling tea is more fragrant than any other tea, and that's the reason they have got geographical indicator registered. It can be grown only in Darjeeling.
Okay, interesting. So in Japan, of course, the production is tiny compared to India, but there are varieties of tea all across Japan. And one characteristic of Japan is as you go to different cities, you'll find local teas from the area. So I don't think there's particularly any dominant green tea in Japan. Uh,
I have seen this in my animes. Those are my only source to Japanese education. But I have seen that there are variety of flavors of Japanese green tea. There are fruit flavors, flower flavors. So I do want to try them once when I come there.
you should. I do hope you'll be able to come over. And I suppose the question is, maybe not this year, but maybe next year, perhaps we could welcome you to the Open Compliance Summit, which could be really fun.
Sure, we can do that.
So on a final note on drinking weird stuff, there's big coffee culture in different countries. And Jimmy Alberg, one of our chair in the telco work group and also a board member, just brought some Swedish roasted coffee. Now, Sweden has such a coffee culture that the roasting of the coffee beans and the very subtle taste of the coffee beans is something that they pay a lot to. So the coffee packets have tasting notes on the outside. Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, right? It's very different from, let's say, the American style of coffee, where it's like full body.
Now I think I should have known this 2 years ago when I was in Sweden. I could have tried this.
Oh, okay. Well, don't worry, you'll get back.
Yeah. With all this pandemic and other things going on and rising air ticket prices, I'm not sure when that next time is going to be.
It has been shocking arranging travel around the OpenChain project. Prices are at least 50% higher than before.
True.
Yeah, I think I might have it. Apply the new company policy, including adoption of ISO IEC via the self-certification questionnaire. The goal of
Yes. The code. I think it straightforward connects to the two steps below, right?
yeah, I think we move into these can be like step 7 and step 8 to just say, oh, these are 2 more action items.
Yes. Or rather, we can combine them into step 7 because it's anyway storing the reports in one place, SBOM in one place. So the point number 1 and 2 there can be combined to step 7.
Oh, that's a really good point. Okay.
And then the goal of that step would be to, prove the compliance. What would I say?
Yes. So I'm just going
Yeah,
to
goal of this step would be Enabling compliance in the organization,
Or maybe,
proof of compliance.
yes. How about we say, provide verification policy being operational
Yeah.
or implemented. So the goal of this step is to provide verification of the policy being implemented. Sorry, I haven't put the information there, so I'm just going to put the information there while we consider how to improve that language. Oh, well.
For step 6, we did not complete the goal. The goal can be execution of company policy.
Yeah, that's perfect. You provide monitoring. Maybe have processes.
Monitor and store results of open source packages and components.
Yes. Store the results of this monitoring and have a way. What do you think of that? Have processes to monitor open source packages and components, store the results of this monitoring, and have a way to share the records of these results.
Yeah,
maybe,
sounds good.
And maybe we could add to that and say through SBOMs.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
We are done with small company playbook.
Oh my God, that's amazing. How did that happen?
Thanks to you. Thank you for all the participants. Shane, I think we have to remove the parenthesis once here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna mark it addressed on some of these comments so that people know that we went through it. I think we can get rid of this. What do you think? Because we've actually said to do it. We just did it in less words.
Sure, we can do that. And we do have a lot of people, contacting either one of us on LinkedIn frequently and asking queries. So I think we can answer them there if they need more answers.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, there was someone who was asking me about all the LF courses they could take, and then I gave them a list. And I was quite surprised how many free courses we have on open source.
We do. I mean, whether you want to start developing or you want to start managing, we actually have courses and badges for everything. It's so cool. Do you think
the list I gave yesterday was only on open source awareness and SBOM, and that itself came up to 5-6.
If it's not too much trouble, could you forward me a copy of the list just so I can also learn from it?
Definitely, I can do that. I'll do that by today end of day.
Thank you. So yeah, I think we're basically done with this playlist. I mean, Martin has a few comments on the self-certification questionnaire, but I think that's separate. That's another thing. That's a
yeah.
We're done. Wow. So I
Congrats.
guess, sorry, go ahead. My apologies.
Sorry, I just said congratulations to all of us. Sorry, I interrupted.
And especially to you. You've run this process really, really quickly. And now that we have this done for small companies, I think we'll easily move to the medium and large company, which is basically looking at this document and copying over a lot of the stuff, which I'll get started on.
Yeah, medium is anyway already done, right? You completed that last year, so we just have to move to the large.
Excellent. All right, Balakrishna, that's it for this call. We're free to go.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Please have a wonderful evening and rest well.
Thank you.